Good afternoon, and welcome to OMBCD's 2026 Annual Action Plan meeting. My name is Kelly Russell. Today you'll hear from myself and our program supervisor, AJ Stevens. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through our 2026 Annual Action Plan. For this process, we'll discuss the budget process, for today's agenda, we'll discuss the budget process. We'll provide details on the 4 grants our department manages. We'll talk about the CDBG line items in the 2026 capital budget, and we'll also look for community input. So let's talk about the budget process. In April, the mayor provides priorities to OMB and city departments. In May, the RFPs go out to the various city departments. In May and June, OMB wants to hear from the public. OMB is the Office of Management and Budget, too. In July, city departments must submit their proposals. In August and September, the Capital Program Facilitation Committee, also known as the CPFC, meets with city departments and scores their proposals. Come September, the mayor will release the initial budget. In October, OMB gets public feedback and makes adjustments to the budget. In November, City Council takes over and they can make revisions to the budget as they see fit, and the budget must be published by December 31st of that year. In terms of community development, that is our department, we receive our funds from HUD, better known as Department of Housing and Urban Development. We are responsible for 4 different grants. First, the Home Investment Partnership that provides affordable housing to low and moderate income individuals. That grant is managed by the Urban Redevelopment Authority, better known as the URA. Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS, HOPWA, that is managed by the Jewish Healthcare Foundation, and that helps with housing for those who have AIDS and HIV. The Emergency Solutions Grant, ESG, that helps deal with those who are homeless or at risk of being homeless. We cooperate that program with the Allegheny County Department of Human Services, and the one that everybody knows, the Community Development Block Grant, that benefits low to moderate income city residents. In terms of CDB in the budget, the CPFC scores proposals to determine which activities should be funded. Our department will review proposals for eligibility. CD funds will be used by a variety of city departments. You'll get to see the budget here for 2026 momentarily. And the initial budget has been published and comments will be taken. At this time, I'd like to turn the presentation over to AJ. AJ?
Thank you. As you can see from this pie chart, these are the allocations within the capital budget. The majority of funds are being sent to affordable housing, and then our next biggest slice of the pie is demolition and remediation of condemned or vacant buildings. Up next, we have administration and personnel. These are the costs associated with administering these federal grants to make sure that we follow all of the rules and don't have to give the money back. Next up is senior programming through our Department of Parks and Recreation, our Neighborhood Economic Development and Public Service grants, and then the 3 smallest are our workforce development programs, housing counseling, and fair housing promotion. In terms of who's using those funds, $5 million is going to the Bedford Dwellings Choice Neighborhood via the URA. You can see it's a little over $2 million for PLI for those remediation of condemned buildings. 1.1 million in personnel for us, and then a little lower down you'll see there's also personnel for the URA. $1 million for the URA's housing development program, so that will be their affordable for sale or for rent housing. $800,000 for our senior community programs run through the Healthy Active Living Centers. Our neighborhood economic development grants are grants given to nonprofits working in specific neighborhoods, usually doing affordable housing and small business technical assistance programs. The public service grants are allocated via the mayor's office and city council, and there's also a chunk dedicated to the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. Those are going to nonprofits in our city working to provide direct public services to residents. We have combined our Pittsburgh Employment Program and Neighborhood Employment Centers as our workforce development funds. Those are both operated by the Human Resources and Civil Service Commission, working to connect Pittsburghers with employment and help them keep it. Again, there's the administration and personnel costs. Then there's housing counseling via the Urban League, making sure that people are ready to buy a house, know what the process of getting a mortgage is, and helping them through that whole process for first-time home buyers. And then fair housing, ensuring that landlords and tenants know their rights so nobody's getting discriminated against. So now we're here for the main purpose of this meeting. We want to hear from our community. Those of you online, if you would like to participate, feel free to raise your hand and you will be unmuted. But the things that we're looking for are along the lines of what needs exist in your community. How can we help meet these needs? What do you see in the budget that you like? What would you like to see more of? And basically, what can the city do to help support your community? So if anyone would like to raise their hands. Okay, it looks like Stephen O'Brien. Okay, go ahead, Stephen.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. My name is Stephen O'Brien. I'm the advocacy coordinator with Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. And I just wanted to take a couple of moments to thank the Community Development Division under the Office of Management and Budget for hosting this important conversation today. I don't have, I think kind of the brief comments I have here address all 3 points on the screen, but I'm really here today with one simple message on behalf of the food bank, our partners, and the neighbors we serve, which is thank you for your continued support of our work through the Hunger Services line item. At this point in time, these funds are more important than ever because of rising food insecurity coupled with deep reductions to food assistance. As you might be aware, over the last 10 months, the federal government has slashed critical funding for the Emergency Food Assistance Program, also known as TFAP, canceled impactful investments including the Local Food Purchase Assistance Program, also known as LFPA, and enacted the largest cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, in the history of our country. Meanwhile, the state budget impasse and federal shutdown have paused vital funding to help our partners feed their communities, and possibly for the second time ever, SNAP benefits might be disrupted, causing mass panic and challenges to family budgeting. Unfortunately, these developments come amid a persistent hunger crisis in our region and across the Commonwealth. Over the last 2 years, the rate of food insecurity in Pennsylvania has increased by 40%. Here in the city of Pittsburgh, the data tells us that 1/6 of our neighbors are food insecure. We also know that demand for assistance at food bank programs and partners from both individuals and families across our service area has only continued to grow as we further distance ourselves from the pandemic. In fiscal year 2020, we distributed 40 million meals. By fiscal year 24, that number rose to 48 million meals. In our most recent fiscal year 2025, we and our partners distributed 53 million meals. We are proud of this accomplishment, but also recognize the unprecedented nature of what we're experiencing and the strain it's placing on our network. For our partners and neighbors in the city of Pittsburgh, CDBG funds play a critical role getting food into homes and onto kitchen tables. Thank you to the administration for retaining the Hunger Services line, council for supporting it year after year, and the OMB CD staff that implement the program. We are living through a challenging moment, but together as a community, we will rise above it. If during the course of this budget process, you find any funding that could be directed to supplement the Hunger Services line item, we and our partners would be grateful, as we know the hunger crisis I discussed will only worsen before it gets better. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Stephen. We've been working with the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank for a while. We really appreciate your partnership and all of the work you do in our community. Up next, we have Geraldine Massey.
There we go. How you doing today, everybody?
Good, thanks.
Good.
How are you?
Good. I was saying I was going to address what needs exist in our communities, and I think that there's, after school programming is like we have a gap of ages where they can't go to daycare, and they're so we don't. There's nothing. There's not enough. Let's say there is some, but there's not enough like after school programming and money or programming. Period. I don't know where the money comes from, but not enough programming in our communities.
And do you have a specific age range, or is that just school-age children?
No, it's that almost tween age, like 11 to 17. It's like those two age groups. They're not one group. It's 11. It's like 11 to 16, and then 16 to like 18 or 19. That's the group that is falling through the cracks with the after school programming and needs. And so, I think that it'll be a safer community if we can get those guys invested in some kind of after school programming. Because when football, these guys are involved in football, but when football's over in our communities, then everybody just goes and does anything they want to do. And that, they still need that structure is what I'm saying. Yes, especially that age group, those age groups.
Fair point. And is this for a particular part of the city or a city as a whole?
I'm saying the city as a whole. I think that every community could stand to pick up their after-school programming because we have, an abundance of young people and they transition into those stages, real quickly. And if we don't have something prepared, then we're like, well, what do we do with this? These kids are like well advanced in that, and we can't do, So I see after-school programming trying to address it. But maybe it's money, maybe it's training, I don't know. It's just they're not able to engage and grab and keep that age group engaged in activities that keeps them safe.
Okay, thank you very much for that feedback.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up we have Ada Griffin.
I actually love, thank you, Ms. Geraldine Massey, for bringing this up because I was actually going to speak to the same point. I think that one thing that I see in my line of work, I am a grant writer for a nonprofit called Assemble, which focuses on after school and other out of school time education. What we're seeing across the city and across the country is the intense need for affordable childcare and after school in particular. So this is something that is absolutely true across the city for Pittsburgh and across the country in general. There was a report released last week by an organization called APOST called America After 3 p.m. that showed that 4 out of 5 families in this country are in need of additional childcare, specifically after 3 p.m. And that makes a lot of sense when you think about the fact that a lot of households have working parents. So having consistent and quality childcare at this time is really, really important. In our city, organizations like mine work to try to meet this need, but we are definitely very grateful for any additional funding that the city can provide. We are funded in part by the Stop the Violence grant from the mayor's office, but are definitely looking to expand opportunities for funding because we see the need ever expanding in our city. So we are hoping that this will be considered in this budget. And then one other thing related to that is definitely a need in the city of Pittsburgh is going to be affordable transportation options. That's true for all ages. We could all use some updates to the public transportation system for sure, but in particular for the youth, for young students, there are many students who would benefit from our programming that simply can't get to us because we do not have the ability to sustain a busing program, for example. So additional grant funds would be welcomed for that as well. And I also want to echo what has been shared earlier in this meeting about the need for better food security, and also say that we feel that that is a very important need to focus on as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And real quick, I did want to ask, was there a specific age group that you were talking about, or was it the same tweens and teens?
Yeah, absolutely. At my organization, we teach all ages, starting from first graders and up. So we do have programming for tweens and teens. We also have a program called Hack the Future, which actually offers a stipend for high school students to come and join after school programming and learn how to lead after school programming if that's something they're interested in. So it's also a workforce development type program. And if anyone has questions about that, you can find us at assemblepgh.org.
Great, thank you so much. Up next, we have Eleanor Williams.
Okay, hi, I was just wondering if you could hear me. I'm Eleanor Williams from the Northside Partnership Project, and I too echo what has been stated about our youth having a place and a safe place to be. We have the old McNaughton School that we would really like to have rehab, to have more space so that we can accommodate more youth in our programs that we do have. We have a indoor swimming pool in that school, which is just a few in the city that we would like to, reconstruct and get working so that we can use it to help with anything in the community for kids to come to for activity, plus for adults that can, for health issues and different things like that. So we would like to see more funding to help us to rehab our space to make a safe, accommodating space for all ages. And, we for the food securities, we have received CDBG grants that we have really appreciated because it really helped us to address the food insecurities in our neighborhood. I'm in the Perry Hilltop neighborhood on the north side. And thanks for having this platform that we could, speak to this. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your comments.
Okay, there we are.
Yes.
Had a little trouble with it. Hi, I'm Sandra Glass, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Leamington Collaborative, which is the RCO in Lincoln Leamington Belmar. So earlier you showed a pie chart that showed how much was going for housing, demolition, neighborhood economic development, things like that. So Lincoln Leamington needs all of that. This organization was created about 5 years ago. We have not had any help in anything. There's not been any new development in Lincoln Leamington in the 40 years that I've lived here. We have a lot of blighted property, things that need to be torn down, building up. We have no services. The communities around us, Larimer, Homewood, East Hills, everyone is getting housing services that we need, and Lincoln Leamington has seemed to have been left out of everything. We have a small group of people who are working hard to bring some of those things in here, but we definitely need help from the city. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We'll give people a few more minutes to think on it. As you can see at the bottom of the slide, we have a shared email address, community.development@pittsburghpa.gov. You're welcome to write to us, literally at any time of the year. If you have input on projects, have questions about our projects, anything like that, it's a shared inbox. We're always keeping an eye on it. We like to hear from our residents at any point. And even if what you are writing about isn't necessarily a CDBG project or even a city project. I know transportation has come up a lot, and the city does not control PRT, but we do have a working relationship with them. So you can email us and we can get it routed to the right place, or we can respond to your concerns.
Well, we want to thank everybody for your comments and taking time out of your day to participate. Please also know, in terms of the after-school programming, with the public service grants that AJ mentioned earlier, that is one way which we're helping with after-school programming. Those grants are given out by City Council and the Mayor's Office. Our department only reviews it through eligibility, but please know that that need for after-school programming is being taken care of through the public service grants. Ms. Glass, thank you for your comments about what's not happening in Lincoln Leamington. We can also pass that along to our friends at the URA and let them know about that as well, and also to PLI, who receives a majority of our funds for demolition and things like that. Once again, want to thank AJ. I want to thank everybody here online for taking time out of your day. We appreciate your comments, we appreciate your concerns, and we appreciate you most importantly. Thank you for your time, and you have a good day.